And next, we are going to have a little cooking with Bill. Bill is the harbor master at Emeryville Marina. And his prior life, he was a top chef. Cooked down in LA, had some restaurants down there, and won lots of awards. And came up here about, I think, about a year ago. He's one of the good guys, and he sure does know how to cook. So Bill lives on a Catalina 42. I didn't sell it to him. I wish I did, but I didn't. But he cooks aboard all the time, and he's going to take us through one of his favorite one pot dishes. And I had the pleasure of eating it. So can we get that queued up? Are we ready to go? All right, here we go, guys. Welcome, everybody. We're here today with Bill from Emeryville Marina. Bill's actually the harbor master at the marina. And Bill's going to show us a little cooking on board his Catalina 42 that he lives aboard. Hey, Bill, how you doing today?
I am well, thank you.
All right, all right. So I understand that you know a little about cooking.
Yep, absolutely. Prior to taking this position as general manager at Emeryville, I was a professional chef for 35 years.
Professional chef for 35 years.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
Graduated at the Culinary Institute of America in Hyde Park, New York. I was a hotel chef for 12 years, and then a restaurant chef, and then I started my own business.
So CIA, I've heard a little about that. That's not the spooks.
No. The Culinary Institute of America, the Harvard of Cooking Schools.
The Harvard of Cooking Schools.
And it's an old joke. You either went to CIA or wish you did. And very prestigious place, and gives you a great foundation for cooking. You don't make you a chef; they make you a good cook.
Yeah, and then you went out and you spent years with a hotel, and then out on your own.
Yep. I worked for some of the best chefs in New York, and then I started with hotels. First one was in San Diego. Well, actually, the first one was in New York. I did my apprenticeship at the Waldorf, and then my first position was banquet chef at the Hyatt Regency La Jolla, then executive chef at the Grand Hyatt Wailea, and then Hotel Nico Beverly Hills. And then I said enough of hotels and the madness, so I started my own business.
And what was your own business?
I was a caterer inside of a photography studio, and we used to do location shoots and photo shoots in the studio. I had 5 rooms with sites and.
Yeah, so those stars got to eat pretty good, huh?
Yes, they did. Every one of them. Even have autographs from them. It was a lot of fun. I started there, then that business went bankrupt. Not my business, their business, and I moved into a professional kitchen. That was actually was a test kitchen for Kukuro, if I remember it right. And I just converted for my needs, and then we did really, really well for about 10 years, and then in 07, 08, the bottom dropped out, so I converted it into an actual restaurant where I served hamburgers. And I just said, oh, I hope this works. Well, it took off like a bat out of hell. And we had top 5 burger in LA for the next 8 years. And then I guess I had enough of this. And we closed shop, and I applied for the job that I have now, got it, and sailed my boat up here. And for the past 2 years, I've been here.
So you've got a little bit of boating background too.
A little bit of boating background. I was actually I grew up on boats. I was a sea explorer, which is Boy Scouts, and then I became a merchant marine and did that for a couple of years. And then a few years back, I got my skipper's license.
All right,
and,
all right.
I was actually we actually did use this boat in chartering, where I'd bring 6 people on board, and I used to cook meals and blah blah blah. But then LA interfered. You had to have all this stuff and all these permits, and I said, the hell with it. It was too much work.
Then you came up to God's country.
And then I came up to Fog City.
Fog City.
And into this loony bin that I call a marina, and been plugging away, trying to make this place.
But you still know how to cook.
I cook every day.
On board.
On board, which is a challenge, but it can be done.
Yeah.
And, the trick is try to get your prep work down to the smallest possible way by buying pre-cut or pre-julienne or pre-done anything. And I have a couple of things I can show you what I'm talking about. And today's dish is going to be it's a pasta dish, fettuccine alfredo. But we're doing it the real way, not the American way, the way they do it in Italy, because 3 years ago I went to Italy to pick olives to make olive oil. And while there, I was staying in a 900-year-old church that was converted into a home. And the owners said, hey, this is how we do it here. You guys are screwed up in the United States.
We don't know anything.
We don't know anything. You know, cream. We don't use cream here. We use cream in desserts. So I'm going to show you that, and it's going to be really easy. And then, if we do more of these, we'll progress into a little more challenging dishes, but not like, oh my God.
Yeah. We'd like to, continue this series. Yep. Maybe do once a month.
Yeah, I love that.
Dinner with Bill or cooking with Bill on the boat. Yeah. So that'd be great. Yeah. So today we're going to do a little fettuccine alfredo.
Fettuccine alfredo. I'm going to show you some ingredients. I'm going to show you some other things that I'm talking about to get your mise en place, which means things in place prepared for you, so you don't have to have great knife skills or just boom, throw it in the pot. You get it going.
Nice and easy. You get done on a boat. You don't need a lot of room.
Easy peasy, easy as everything. I think that's what turns people off is the prep time. When you go online to see a recipe, it's prep time 45 minutes. It's like people forget it, and they order it from Grubhub. right. You don't have to do that. I'll show you a few tricks, and bing, 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 it'll be done.
Yeah, cool. All right. Well, what do you say we get over to the galley?
And you try to keep things down to the minimum. I even wrote a book called Express Aisle Gourmet, where you made wonderful meals with 10 ingredients or less. So
Bill, would you recommend that for somebody on a boat to pick up that book?
Yeah, some of the dishes, some of them are a little too complicated. Ossobuco, you're not gonna make ossobuco on a boat. We'll buy it. But
and what was the name of that book again?
Express Aisle Gourmet. So we have a 5-quart pot, which is plenty big for a boat, even though I have a bigger one, and so we have a 5-quart pot, nothing fancy. Don't go out and spend a lot of money on pots and pans. Lighter is better. I got this at Target for like 20 bucks. And the one thing about pasta, it does use water, and water on a boat is a luxury because you have to fill up your tanks. I use bottled water, and this is, 5-quart, and I have about 3 quarts of water in there. I got this lovely Italian pasta. Not that American pasta isn't good, but this is an import that I get at a store over in Berkeley, and I've had it many times. It's delicious. We need a little good olive oil. Extra virgin olive oil is fine. It's extra virgin, first press, cold press, blah blah blah. Just get a good olive. Sprouts isn't bad. It's only like $17. I like black pepper, but white pepper is good. This is again, for myself, I have a block o' cheese and a cheese grater. Yeah, this is very good stuff. An egg, you get good eggs, in a bowl to mix the eggs and the olive oil and the salt and the pepper and the Parmesan that'll eventually go into there. So we're gonna get this bad boy to a boil. And the trick with pasta is you need a reasonable amount of water. Otherwise it comes out really gummy. So the rule of thumb generally is for a pound of pasta, a gallon of water. But, again, water is a precious commodity on a boat, especially if you're out at sea, if you're on a hook somewhere. So I'm using a little less, and it's going to come out okay. But some of the things I was telling you about, so you don't get discouraged doing things, is, for instance, I love butternut squash, and I roast this. You can get it pre-cut. You don't have to buy the thing and peel it, because they're really hard and difficult to do, and you can cut your hand off. So this is great stuff. It hasn't been treated. It's just cut, and it's organic, and blah 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 again. And I usually toss this with a little olive oil, salt, pepper, and some ginger and curry powder, and I roast it in the oven. These ovens work great on a boat. So let's hold up to this will boil, which this is. And on a boat, that you don't have the same. This is propane, so you don't have the same thing with natural gas. See, this is pretty damn good. drop it in. It's going to start cooking relatively quickly. Come on. Tongs, the most important thing in the kitchen. These become your second hand. And you can use fresh pasta. I'm not particularly fond of it. I think it's too gummy. And you just want to move it around so you don't get clumps of pasta, as I call it. And now I'm going to do something that you're not supposed to do because I want to get that water boiling back up. So I'm going to just cover it to recover that boil. And you want to do it because you don't want gummy pasta. And again, that's why I use less volume water. While that's boiling, we're going to make the appelé. And it's going to... 1 egg. These are great eggs, by the way. I love this. Called Vital. They're fantastic. Super delicious.
You can tell the difference between a fresh egg.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Look at the beautiful yellow, the rich color of that yolk. And then we're going to put, now you can measure it, but I'm just going to say about 4 ounces of olive oil. Olive oil is good. Okay, this is boiling again. Perfect. That's what I wanted. Oh, this should be nice. And we're gonna put a nice handful of good pinch. Now I have big fingers, so my pinch is more than most, but that's about right. You can always add more, but you can't take out.
And that was a Parmesan?
Yeah, I mean Reggiano Parmesan. This isn't been aged over 10 months. It's pretty decent stuff. It wasn't expensive. And you use Grana Parmesan. Stay away from the stuff in the green cans. That's just no disrespect, but now normally fettuccine Alfredo in the States is you reduce heavy cream, and then when it gets to a thick, usually by half, thick consistency, you take it off the heat, you crack an egg, you use the yolk and you whisk the yolk in it, and you hit it with salt, pepper, and nutmeg. And it's really good. It's one of the first things you learn when you start cooking because it's pretty hard to screw up unless you don't whisk the egg in quickly. And everybody likes creamy things with food. And but that was, if I remember my history with food, it was prepared here by an American chef at an American restaurant in New York. So it really is not Italian. So when you tell Italians fettuccine Alfredo, they go, "Oh, what's that? What are you doing?" They get, so crazy. And I'm just going to do that to try to keep that water going good.
How long do you cook the pasta?
This brand of pasta takes about 18 minutes. Some brands that cook faster, but in a rush, don't cook. No. What I'm going to do from now on, I'm going to be close to one pot. And so when you buy one of these things, make sure you don't need a colander, because colanders take up space, and space is a premium on a boat, so you can drain it right through there, and then the pasta stays in there, and then we're just going to dump that in there, toss, and put it on a plate, and you're going to consume it, because that's everything. Those are all my pots and pans, and it's not a lot of room.
That strainer idea is really good. Huh?
Yeah, that's, colanders are ridiculous.
Explain that again.
the strainer?
Well, it has holes in the side, and it has these little lips for pouring. So you could certainly pour this into a colander to drain the water out from the pasta, or you just pick it up and tilt it, and the water drains out.
That's great.
Yeah, and you save yourself space. I mean, I think I have 3 pots on the boat. This one bigger, and then a white one for doing small batches. But yesterday I made soup, and you know, everything was done in that one pot. You cook your vegetables, you soak your beans, plop them in there, add your chicken stock, and you get this delicious white bean soup, Mediterranean style. There's peppers and what else is in it? Sun-dried tomatoes, fennel. It's good stuff. And that's your refrigerator. That's all you have. I mean, take a look at that. That's tiny. When you consider that my old refrigerator I could walk into.
You can't walk into that one.
No, I hardly get my head in there. But it help you. You make it work. Boat life. I've been living on this boat for it's going to be 7 years, so I learned how to do things, and it's a little bit of a challenge. This is the Vital eggs I was telling you about. These are great eggs. I won't even eat anyone else's. Beautiful. You can certainly taste the difference, providing you're not a smoker or an alcoholic. And some people say you should, you know, add salt to the water. I don't necessarily agree with that.
How about olive oil?
You could. It won't hurt. I think, you know.
Does it help?
Yeah. Well, I'll show you when you add olive oil. The oil floats on top. So, I don't know what good it does. But if you want to add olive oil, knock yourself out. And you can do this, but say, oh, I want to mix it up, but then it floats back to the top. The one great thing I got out of cooking school was this is the right way to do it. Now, you can do your own interpretation once you're out of here, or you listen to the chef, but there is a right and a wrong way of doing everything. And that's what culinary school does. You know, you want to make a roux or something like that, or a hollandaise, or this is how you make hollandaise. If you want to do it in a blender, go for it, but not in here. The first 2 or 3 months, you're actually in classrooms learning culinary French and how to, you know, stewarding, which is the cleaning of dishes and titration levels, and culinary math. And then finally you get into your first class, which is called skill development. And then you learn the mother sauces, and you learn what braising is, and you learn your knife skills. And that's like 6 weeks of that. And yeah, you learn how to make hollandaise, and you have to make batches of it and bring it up to the chef, and he tastes it. And we had we remained friends after I graduated, but I've lost track of him. Ron DeSantis, he would go up there with his little white plastic spoon. Outstanding. And if it wasn't outstanding, he let you know. And hollandaise is a little tricky. It's an emulsion. You have to, cook the eggs to a certain degree. It's making a sabayon, and then you add clarified butter. But if the butter's too hot, it'll cook the eggs. And if it's too cold, it just turns into a lump. So it's a little tricky, and you have to, it's called acetate or denature the egg yolk. So it stretches the protein so that it'll take on the butter. And normally one egg yolk can bring on, between about 10 ounces of butter. But we had this one class called experimental. We actually got 100 ounces of clarified butter at the one egg yolk. It was crazy. It's a super high-speed thing. And experimental was a great class because they intentionally screwed things up so you'd learn how to fix them. Because in the field, sometimes you make mistakes, and you just got to make them work. Right, so. And I'm just hitting it so that nothing sticks to the bottom.
Just stir it every once in a while.
Yeah, give it a little spin. And also, you know, if there's two stuck together, it'll separate it. And that's also the reason why you want a certain amount of water, because if you don't, pasta is a paste. It's just flour and oil, salt, and make these sheets, and then you cut them. So this will stick like a bad dog. That's a good enough boil. And you can see I have beans, and I, you know, canned beans in a pinch, but, you know, nothing beats buying your own beans and soaking them overnight and making soups with them. Or I have garbanzos, so I make my own hummus. Mung beans. I just made a great batch of black-eyed pea soup with ham hock. Oh, it was so good. And, you know, instant oatmeal, I guess it's okay, but I like steel cut. This is a great brand, McCann's Steel Cut Irish Oatmeal. And, you know, those non-GMO, as if, you know, that matters, but... and, yeah, and, you know, I cook for me and my partner, Susan, and there's plenty of room. You'd be surprised what you can do. I always loved going to these homes, and they had wolf ranges, and, you know, they had the block of knives, and they had all this equipment. They had, you know, what do they call that? All-clad pans, and this, that, and the other, and they never used them. You know, it's like, I was like, all right, you have all this stuff. And the biggest joke was these ranges. They would buy these professional ranges, Montague or Wolf or U.S. Range, were fantastic pieces of equipment, but they throw out a lot of BTUs. Each burner is like 15,000 BTUs, and the oven is 60,000 BTUs. So it was like more than a furnace, and they didn't realize that. You need a hood system and a fire suppression system. They call them Ansel systems. And you need a firewall behind them. And houses were burning down. It's like, duh. Yeah, so if you're going to put that in there, make sure, you don't really need. So then these companies started making professional looking that were more for the home, and crazy prices.
Because they look good.
They look good. They look pretty. You know, they're fancy stainless steel. And so the way you test done this pasta is you take out one and eat it. That's perfect. So this is what I was talking about this handy dandy thing over here. So you don't. Now I'm going to pour it tilted towards me. I suggest you do the opposite, because I know what the hell I'm doing. Most people don't. Now in a boat we have very thin pipes, and there was a lot of starch in there. So just run hot water, try to get it out of your boat. It's nothing worse than a. Okay, so you can see how lovely that is. And now we're gonna pour the, and then mix it up nicely. Take a little of this, get everything out of the bowl. Now, the one thing I haven't done is season it. I do that last because if you season in the beginning, I mean, if you know what you're doing, it's okay. But again, like most people who don't know how to cook, they make food salty. Like when you cook meat, you season the meat first, not afterwards. Again, is
that good?
Goddamn good.
With a little black pepper?
Yeah, in fine dining restaurants, you white pepper. I'm not a fine dining restaurant. So. Then. A little on the plate for fancy schmancy. And you could garnish it with anything. You can make diced tomato, but the dish holds up by itself. You don't need any more. And it's not made with tons of cream, and it's a beautiful dish, and it's very filling.
Wow. That's
So,
great, Phil.
isn't that great?
Yeah.
And what did it take? 20 minutes? It took the length of the water to boil and to cook the pasta. So,
And you hardly have any dirty dishes.
no, one, the bowl.
Oh.
And if you're really a lazy bastard, you can use the bowl.
There you go.
Now you had no dishes.
All right, everybody. I hope you enjoyed that. It made me hungry. I think I'm going to go home and make some pasta, some fettuccine alfredo without cream. That was Bill from Emeryville Marina. What a great chef. We should be doing monthly Cooking with Bill shows. So keep track of us. We'll be sending out emails, notifications. We're probably going to be doing weekly short little boat shows with new listings and interviews and food shows and things like that. So keep your eye out for us. We certainly had a full day today. Started this morning with the Activa 52 Sky Lounge. Great boat. Asking $539, boat show special $499. And then we went to a panel with Lisa Chapin and Allie Hawkins from Baylights. Lisa's from Sail Time, and Gailey Bergen from here. They're just talking about other ways to get on the bay. We had an interview with the engineer down at Catalina, which was pretty cool. And then we showed you two boats, the Delaware 38 and the Sydney 38. Both really cool boats, both under $100,000. No, I'm sorry. The Delaware is 119, I think, is a boat show special. And the Sydney is marked down to 89 from 99. So both those are really nice boats. We did an interview with Linda and Mickey on the Catalina 452. Talked about their new boat and also their 6-year cruise from here to the East Coast, to New York and the East Coast. Talked about the new True North 34 outboard. Great boat. Somebody needs to let me know and we'll take him out for a ride on that boat. And then we had an hour of salesman stories. And boy, that was a session where it could have gone on for all day because, you know, these sales guys, they'll talk about anything. Peter joined us again for the nautical trivia quiz. That was fun. That went for a little longer than usual, but yeah, that was a blast. And then Lisa Scriba joined us, and she was talking about health on the boat and yoga and staying healthy through this COVID-19 pandemic. Lots of good information about keeping your mind together and, you know, how you get through this with your job and your family. And Laura lives on a boat with her 2 children and her husband in Emery Cove. The next one, there was a wealth of information in this one. Chris Wenther from San Diego, Wenther Law Group. You want to know something about the legal aspect of buying a boat? Chris is a guy, and he really filled us in on that. And he's got a lot more, too. So we'll try to get Chris back in one of these weekly sessions. And then to end up, there it was, Bill Dertouzas from Emeryville Marina, our top chef, our top Marina Harbor Master chef, cooking it up on his Catalina 42. So what a full day. And you guys are lucky. You have one more day, and we're going to do this again tomorrow. So join us starting at 9 o'clock, another full day. We're going to show you 4 more boats and lots of panels and experts tomorrow as well. So hope you had a good time today. Hope you enjoyed it, and looking forward to seeing you tomorrow. Thanks a lot. It's a wrap.